All right, so I just want to make a video showing how I mark up my script so that I can remember next time I'm in a play, community theater. And I thought, I couldn't really find very many videos online about how to do this or useful tips. So I thought, let me make a video about what I ended up doing. So there you go. In case it's useful to anyone else, I'm going to explain this chaos of colors and notes and using clear stickies. Yeah, so let's get to it. All right, let's turn this around and point the camera down. There we go. All right, so here we go. Actually, let's start at the beginning. So before I start, and I think before most people start, there are some shorthand that you can. There is some shorthand that you can use. Letters like down, stage, up, stage right, stage left, center, shift, an idea or tone. That's just 2 lines. Cross, because sometimes the director will say cross the stage and go up or down or exit, and then E for exit. So that's what those mean. Now let's find a page. Here we go. So here is a fully, let's zoom in a little bit. Zoom in back in closer. Nope, I don't want that. Actually, I think I want to change the lighting. I'm not loving the lighting. Okay. The next thing to show is the color scheme I use for the highlighting. So I use these highlighters, Sharpie gel highlighters. They are fabulous. Let's just empty out my whole bag. All right, in case you're wondering what the heck I'm doing, fussing with, I use these lovely Ziploc bags, but they are a nice thick plastic. They've lasted for 2 plays, longer. I have paper sticky notes, clear sticky notes of different sizes, tab sticky notes, clear and color ones, pens, different colored pens, black, blue, red, headphones, nothing to do with marking up my script, chapstick, nothing to do with marking up my script. All right, just end of a play, and that stuff was all thrown in my bag. All right, so the Sharpie gels, we have yellow. What's the order? Yellow, green, blue, the second yellow one, because I use yellow a lot, pink, and orange. All right, so my code for using them is here. There we go. So my code is, yellow is for my lines. If it's my line and it is a cue for another actor, then I highlight it in green. It's very important that you make sure that you memorize these exactly. Your fellow actors are counting on you to say a particular line, so they know it's their turn to talk. Now, in this play, it's a comedy, so we had quite a few lines that were, there we where I needed to, so if it's their line and I need to cut them off, I would mark the end of their cue line, their line in blue. Meaning I need to cut off the previous person who's speaking. Now, if it's an action, like I need to actually do something, B just means my character's name was Beatrice in this play. So, you know, I need to move or do some sort of action. So that was pink. And then orange is, oh, sorry, I made a mistake. Yellow are my lines. Orange is it's my line, but it's a cue for a fellow actor. So I need to memorize it perfectly. Green is somebody else's line, but it's my cue line. So it's the end of whatever they're saying. And then blue, I need to cut off the previous person. So jump in quickly with your line. Don't wait, especially for comedy. Timing is very important. And pink is move. I need to do some sort of action. So let's see this in action. Whew, this is overwhelming. All right, let's cover that side up just because it's all a bit much. And, all right, so we have orange. Lord, I do know my colors. Honestly, this is ridiculous. That is pink. So pink, when the previous actor said dark side, the director wanted all of us, all three of us, and it's actually in the play stage notes anyway, to turn our heads in unison and stare at the door that led to the dark side. So that's an action, so that's in pink. All right, then we have green. That is the previous actor, because I was Beatrice. So the previous actor, I put in green, the last line, what I need to memorize, listen for, because that's her line, which is my cue. Now, as you can see, there is this little dash here, meaning I need to cut this person off. So I need to jump in quickly with my line. So I highlighted this in blue. And you can see that over here as well. So Edie would say, Beatrice, get serious. And I'd say, I am serious. And Jean would say, oh my God, because she's very stressed. Why is it not focusing? There we go. And I need to cut her off. I need to jump in quickly with, okay, good. So it's settled. So I highlight that in blue. So green, blue, yellow. These are all my lines. Now, there's an action here. So you see some pink at the end of the sentence. The director wanted me to scoot over. Can you see my pencil? My pencil writing. Beatrice, scoot over to the right side of the sofa. So I drew an arrow because that's where she wanted me to do the action. When I'm saying, well, something ain't working, Looney Tunes, I'm on the left side of the sofa and she wants me to scoot over to the right. Green is a cue line for me. Yellow, this yellow, my line. The orange underneath the end of my line is for me to remember to say crazy pants because my fellow actor is counting on me to say that, so then they know when to speak. Pink again, the dark side, we snap our heads. That's what our director wanted us to do. Green, Imogen is speaking, so that's the end of her, monologue or comment. So that's my cue to then begin. Yellow, my lines. Pink again, the snapping our heads. In orange, drooling on themselves. Reminder to myself to be sure to get those right, not change the wording at all, but be very precise in the wording. I'm going to remove this for a second. And then the rest of the page is pretty clear. Yellow, my lines. Orange, Mabel Dupree, because that's the cue for Imogene. And then nothing else for me. That's just my cue to speak. What we have here is one way in which I use these clear sticky notes. These are great because you can write on them and yet still see what is underneath. Yeah, so you'll see it says notes and then some dates. So I kept getting the same notes from the director because I was not doing a very good job as an actor. The director wanted me to draw out a joke. Yeah, so over here, these first lines are a joke, and she wanted me to drag that out. And I kept being a bit fast about it. This also, I'm joking here, or I'm trying to make a joke out of a situation because the other two are being very scared about the possibility that our friend Imogene is starting to lose her memory. And it's common, the symbol for theater, right? It's one mask that's a comedy and one's tragedy, right? So psychologically, one of the ways that humans tend to deal with tragedy is to make jokes about it because they're trying to deal. So anyway, so she kept having to remind me, drag out the joke, be bigger and louder about certain things, like this one here. So this also is a joke, and I'm trying to make light of the situation so that my friends are not so worried. And the director was like, louder. So this had to be louder, but then Edie would switch, and I would switch as well, and we would both get serious. So those are some of the penciled in comments. And then for myself, I would write down the dates. So during rehearsals before the show, I would write, look, I got some of these notes on the 9th. I got them again on the 15th. For the love of goodness sakes, just get it together, Katya, and do what you are told. So yeah, that's one of the ways I use these. La, la, la. Oh, over here, I use some smaller ones. I think these are smaller. Actually, these are some of these stiff ones. So these stiff Post-its, they're tab Post-its. So you can see I use tab colored Post-its on the edge so that I know all of the scenes. So there's 6 scenes, 2 acts with 3 scenes in each. So 6 scenes. So I can immediately go to the scene. But you can also see I use clear ones here. Along the side, I use clear ones when I got notes. During rehearsal on the 16th, I got notes. On the 14th, I got notes. So if it was notes or if I missed a line, like on here you can see, I kept missing this line. Oh, it took me ages to get it for some reason. So yeah, I kept missing that one. 16th, 18th, up here, 14th again. So whenever I miss lines, I use them also in this particular one at the top to denote areas where I needed to figure out a dance move or some sort of physical movement. So the character that I played was does it say on the back here? I was here we go, retired burlesque dancer, Beatrice Shelton. So as a retired burlesque dancer, this type of character would have a lot of physicality, likely physicality different to mine. So I went through the play and identified areas where I thought I need to figure something out, figure out how this individual would denote that. Okay, so yeah, I've got, is there one here? Oh yeah, so here. This one, I must say, I think what I came up with for this was actually, no, not this one, the next page. She wanted, so it says dance, but basically I wanted to move. So the director said, get up, slow motion, and go downstage and act like slow motion, the running on the beach. That was her idea, the director's idea and direction. So what I came up with was a hand motion for holding the stem of a wine glass and just dancing the night away. Because I stand up. So the script says, I begin to fantasize and rise. I actually rise up here so that I can slow motion the wine and dine and dancing the night away. And then slow motion running on the beach. I head down right. I dragged my hands through my hair as if braided like Bo Derek. I looked that up. And I did come up with something very cute for meeting a silver fox. I used my fingers as though I should just insert a clip from the video here. As if I'm like walking my fingers up the buttons of a man's shirt and being coy and cute. I'm sorry for the nail that fell off. My fingernail fell off. And then I came up with a very cute movement for this one. So while my friends keep talking, and one of them says, I'm still flirting with this imaginary silver fox that I've met on a cruise. My other friend says, Imogene says, I can't believe you're into those one-night stands. I don't even look at them. I just wave a hand at them dismissively and say, oh, honey, I don't stand. And while I say that, I imaginarily pull my silver fox down on top of me as I lay back onto the sofa behind me. And then I'm rolling around on the sofa with my silver fox. I enjoyed that. I thought that was a cute little way to embody this person, this character. Oh yeah, so here's another one, another movement. So again, I use this sticky because I don't need it. I didn't have it the whole time, but later I realized, okay, I really need to embody this. So in this line, I'm saying, oh, hell, Edie, I was a stripper and I am not ashamed. And what I do when I say this, so I slow this line down, is I do if you've seen the movie Legally Blonde, I think, leg down hair flip is the move that I do. So you slide your hands down your leg, flip your hair, and then slide your hands back up. I had to practice that. And can I just say, that move is incredibly difficult. Oh my goodness. Here's one of the notes. For the love of all that's holy, why would I always forget this part of the line? And this is my hair. Oh my gosh, I forgot that so often. Anyway. So yeah, so that's how I would use those. Oh, here's me using a little clear one. Yes, another one. See, look at me yelling at myself. Honestly, it's not that hard. I would forget this to say really in reaction to her lines. So here is a tip for memorizing lines for myself. Find a word in your cue line, the cue line for you. So the cue line, the line the other actor is saying, find a word that relates to your line. So in this case, Imogene says, now that's very impressive. And I'm supposed to say, really? And I can link these two in my mind. They seem related to me, so it helps me remember. Here, for example, I could have, but never did, I could have linked wig and my hair. That may have helped me remember that and not take so long. The reason I kept forgetting, though, was because mentally on stage while I'm saying this, I'm getting ready for this physical action. And my brain couldn't do two things at once because I hadn't gotten to the point where I knew the script as one. I didn't know the script yet as a person that is fully confident driving. I had a vague understanding of the script as someone that's still learning the rules of how to drive. And you know the difference between you're learning how to drive versus you're fully competent at driving. Once you're fully competent, you can drive and put on your makeup and drink coffee and have a conversation. You can do all these other things once you fully have memorized how to drive. Because I hadn't fully memorized how to drive, how the whole script, I couldn't do two things at once. And so that may help you because it helps you understand why you forget, why you can't do two things at once, why you forget lines. So there you go. Tips, things to remember about how to mark up your script so that life is easier. Hello again. Oh, wait, let's just show the, oops, not in, go up. Look at that. There's I got to keep the poster, ta-da, for the play, 4 Old Broads. And I was one of the main old broads. So great. So that's it. How to mark up a script. Bye.